Welcome to the Pantheon Parenthetical. My name is Lance Ash. Beginning with this episode, I'm going to be making some changes. Number one, as you can see or hear, I've done away with the background music. And secondly, I'm going to expand the length of the show from 6 minutes to 10 minutes. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's pouring down rain right now. And as I indicated on the last episode, I'm going to start using themes or topics or maybe titles as a framing device or as an impetus to what I'm going to talk about. The topic for this episode is Woody Allen. I was a little wary of doing that because of all the hot button issues surrounding him lately. The main thing I want to get across to begin with is he's not a pedophile. He did not molest his daughter. I'm sorry if you are firmly in that camp, but he didn't. He has shown no inclination that he is sexually attracted to prepubescent bodies, male or female. He may like young women, but that doesn't mean that he's a pedophile. And he certainly no indication that he ever molested his own child. It's ludicrous. However, I do think he showed a lot of poor judgment in recklessly pursuing his philosophy of what I call passion in the now, meaning I've fallen in love. I have no choice. I must pursue this, relationship. I think it's stupid. You may be attracted to someone, but that doesn't mean you have to follow through. I mean, there's this old poem by William Blake. It goes something like, better to strangle a baby in its crib than to fail to act on your desires, or to nurse. What is it? Nurse unacted upon desire, something like that. And I think that's Woody Allen's one of his defining beliefs. Well, I'm in a relationship with you, but I've started going to this, bakery down the road, and they have this girl in there that I'm just totally infatuated with. She has a pretty smile and big tits. I have to have sex with her. I have to start a romantic relationship. Too bad. That's just ridiculous. He didn't have the... There's a, one of his... it's in Manhattan, where he starts... Diane Keaton's character has just broken up with Michael Murphy's character, and she starts to fling with Woody Allen, but then behind his back she starts seeing Michael Murphy again, and he says, what does he say? 2 months. I gave it 2 months, and she goes, well, I can't think that far ahead. Physician, take your own advice. You couldn't imagine what the fallout would be from your relationship with Soon Yi? You didn't know Mia well enough to know that she's a psychotic, manipulative, brainwashing cunt that's going to turn your own child against you? It's just ridiculous. But, okay, now, beyond all that, I want to talk about my personal history with Woody Allen. I knew about Woody Allen before I'd ever seen any of his movies. I think around the age of 15, I read, I don't know why, but I got copies of Without Feathers and Side Effects, two of his compilations of short pieces, and I read them and I thought they were just hilarious. There's a line in one of them where he says, why does man hunt? He hunts for food. But not only for food, occasionally there must be a beverage. At 15, I thought that was just the height of clever humor. I still think it's funny. Anyway, I'll tell you something about two of his films that I have a personal anecdotes to. They're also films that are intrinsically linked. Bananas and Sleeper each contains the song "Rebels Are We, Born to Be Free," just like the fish in the sea. They each are about rebellion against the established government. And my personal connection with the two films is they both contain Harry Cosell as well. Anyway, I tried watching each of those films when I was young and was stopped by a different parent each time. I believe my family, we were staying somewhere in a hotel, and I think it was Bananas was playing on TV, and I turned it on in the middle of it. And I wanted to watch it, and Woody Allen asked the guy at the trial, "Have you ever had sex with a woman with really big breasts?" And my dad was there, and he's like, "No, turn it off. No, wickedness." Then Sleeper was being broadcast on the local PBS station. And again, I turned it on in the middle of it, and I was like, this looks great. And yeah, Diane Keaton and Woody Allen are sitting down in the abandoned house, and she says, "Would you like to perform sex with me?" And my mother was there, and she's like, "No, turn it off, sinner." Anyway, later on, when I was about 22, I guess, I went to this big Woody Allen phase where I wanted to watch all of his films, and I got all these books by him and about him. And the thing that appealed to me about his films was that it portrayed this life of a aesthetically inclined intellectual living in New York City with a circle of like-minded friends and associates. And it was a life that really appealed to me. It still does. And that's one of the reasons I was really crazy about his films. But then later, before I got pissed off at Woody Allen for just being so clueless about his public image, I started to sour on his movies. I don't know when it started exactly, but I thought Mighty Aphrodite was a pile of shit. I went to see it with a friend of mine, and we were both really big into his films, and like, oh, this is going to be great. He's the new Woody Allen movie, great. And I was just thought, this is garbage. I thought Everyone Says I Love You was garbage. I thought Manhattan Murder Mystery was thin. I thought Bullets Over Broadway was thin. He just went through this. I mean, you can say, Midnight in Paris was, it was enjoyable, but it was a lot of the same old themes. It's really irritating. I don't know what's wrong with him. And this whole flap recently about them refusing to publish his memoirs, I think it's ridiculous. To me, it's like when Picasso was an old man and he did that final showing of his recent work, and it was all about sex, and these people were just disgusted. This old man is still obsessed with sex. I think that's what is going on here. This old man still finds young women sexually alluring. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I'd like to know what Tony Roberts, has to say about the whole thing. Anyway, that's about it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening.